Over the next half hour, we're focused on all the big updates coming in on the Karnataka Hijab Showdown. Nabila Jamal is joining us live from Udupi to get you all of those updates. Nabila, good morning. It's over to you.
Good morning, Akshita. Thank you very much. I'm right here in Udupi. This is where ground zero, the controversy kicked off. It seems like there is an eerie silence, an eerie calm. Even as colleges are still closed, schools have opened up, there still seems to be a lot of commotion and confusion on whether or not to allow hijab inside classes. The government now of Karnataka is deciding to give out directions in the form of SOPs at the earliest. We're going to continue tracking those developments, but for now we're looking at the latest development here as this hijab controversy only gets murkier by the day. It appears now the BJP has alleged the hijab issue is linked to the ongoing assembly elections, has called the Karnataka Hijab issue a staged one. In fact, a BJP leader there has raised questions over the petition, hinting at the protests being pre-planned and questioned the link between the involving students in the election process. In the latest, a petitioner student has filed an application before the High Court to postpone the hearing of the case until the assembly elections come to an end. The plea requests the court to adjourn the hearing of the case till February 28, 2022, as elections are underway in 5 states. And the case is being used by parties for political gains and for polarization. This is what one of the petitioners has to say in a petition that has been filed before court. Now, let's take a quick listen. In fact, Mustafa is joining us. Mustafa is also tracking those developments here in Udupi. Mustafa, over to you. One of the petitioners, student petitioners, speaks about assembly elections and how possibly political parties are gaining mileage through this hijab controversy and wants this whole issue to be taken up by court only post the 28th of Feb when the election process is over. BJP calling it an entirely staged one, saying what do students have to do with the election process at all? Who is this petitioner? Would you know?
Well, yes, Nabila, that's one condition mentioned in the petition in the Karnataka High Court yesterday, which has raised a lot of questions. Question on the intention of this hijab protest, because remember, there has been local BJP leaders who are clearly saying that this hijab controversy, which started from PU Udupi, was not a spontaneous protest. It was protest for political gains, political mileage, and these girls were instigated by some or the other organization to do and protest these this kind of a way. So the petition which yesterday in fact said that this case should be taken up after the assembly election is something of a very, it's a not so normal demand for the students. Students where the High Court is concerned that their preparatory exams are going on and students with hijab are not going to appear, are not getting to appear for it, and their board exams are coming up, and hence remember the High Court also has a lot of cases, and then too the bench led by Chief Justice of Karnataka High Court and 3-judge bench is giving this case a daily hearing. Remember, since the last 3 to 4 working days, this has been the case on the Karnataka High Court, and the bench is taking it up. And for the petitioners, remember, normally petitioners demand that their case should be taken up as early as possible, but here the demand was made to take it up after the assembly elections are over. You know, petitioners are saying that because there were politics being played on this issue, and hence they didn't want to basically get this verdict before, but it raises a lot of questions on why such a demand was made. But yes, the Karnataka High Court, the Chief Justice rejected this demand from the petitioners and said that the hearing will go on. They want to reach the conclusion as soon as possible because board exams are coming up. They don't want schools and colleges to shut again due to law and order problem. Whatever has to be decided about the fundamental rights of these girls on wearing hijab inside classroom will be decided by Karnataka High Court as soon as possible. Back to you.
Mustafa, thanks very much. Mustafa, they're tracking all those developments here from Udupi. In fact, India Today has the largest team on ground zero as the issue and the controversy only develops. We're looking at the High Court now urgently hearing this case on a day-to-day basis, only to ensure that students are back in classes in time. We're looking at barely a month away for examinations to begin, and it seems like college students have already set back because of the corona one, and now with this latest hijab controversy. In fact, our consulting editor Rajdeep Sardesai spoke exclusively to Karnataka Education Minister BC Nagesh on the ongoing hijab controversy, as well as BJP's allegations of this entire thing being politically motivated. Let's cut across.
Today, sir, also in the High Court, the petitioner's lawyer, Mr. Kamath, said he claims that in 2 years, the school in Udupi where it all started, the college in Udupi where this started, was not enforcing the hijab code, only came in December according to the petitioners, and he claimed that the students were wearing hijab before that. This is where the issue, according to the petitioners today, seems to have taken a political turn, that this was rigidly enforced in Udupi.
If you want to real fact, why did, if the school was allowing hijab throughout for last 2 years, why did these girls went to principal and requested him to allow their hijab? Hijab is their religious practice.
Because they changed the rules.
Why did they give the application in December?
Sir, because
when the UP elections were about to declare, to be declared.
Sir, 1 minute. Are you in any way linking what has happened in Udupi to the UP elections? Are you telling me that all these protests have been orchestrated because of the UP elections, sir?
I am, yeah, definitely
Yes.
I am linking because this same petitioner had argued, had kept one Mr. Ravi Verma Kumar, and Ravi Verma Kumar has appeared for this petitioner and asked that the judgment should be a verdict should come after UP election. What is the relation between these girls and UP election?
Congress MLA stack. Right. Now, we know that this hijab controversy has simmered across Karnataka. In fact, several schools have now opened up after the High Court, of course, directed the Karnataka government not to delay the process of education for students only because of a controversy like this, to open up schools at the earliest. So now we know that Karnataka schools have opened up, but colleges are still closed. In fact, the High Court will again hear this matter today at 2:30 p.m. Hectic arguments will be taking place, but in the meanwhile, Karnataka colleges are still waiting to see when they get a direction to open up. Let's take a look at this detailed report.
Schools in Karnataka reopen amidst high security and prohibitory orders. Many schools like this one in Mandya asked students and staff members to remove the hijab before entering the school compound. At many places, arguments broke out between teachers and parents. The schools reopened after the Karnataka High Court restrained students from wearing any kind of religious symbols.
Objective is to provide quality education, and students come to school to study. Beyond these two objectives, everything that's happening right now is uncalled for, unnecessary, and a huge distraction to students.
The court continued hearing on the petition filed by students against the ban on hijab on campuses. The arguments by senior advocate Devdutt Kamath, representing the petitioners, were based on two main points. One, the hijab ban is a violation of the right to practice one's religion. Two, the right to practice one's religion can be curtailed if there is a threat to public order. But this is decided by the government and not the College Development Committee, which ordered the ban. Meanwhile, politics over the hijab ban is turning nasty. In a bizarre analogy, Karnataka Congress leader Zamir Ahmed said that rapes happen in India because women don't wear hijab.
हिजाब मतलब मुसलमान के अंदर, इमाम के अंदर गोशा पर्दा बोलते हैं. आज आप देखे होंगे कि हिंदुस्तान के अंदर मेरे ख्याल से रेप रेट जो है वो सबसे हाईएस्ट हिंदुस्तान के अंदर है. वजह क्या है? ये गोशे पर्दे में नहीं होने की वजह से.
The ruling BJP is blaming the Popular Front of India's students' wing for the protest over the hijab ban.
They are just politicizing the issue. They are not clear about the matter. They don't have a clear opinion about the hijab issue or any other issue. They are thinking only about the vote bank. I think they should leave all these things and be a good opposition.
All eyes are now on the Karnataka High Court. Students are hoping for an early verdict on the hijab ban, as many of them are facing term-end examinations. With Nagarjun Dwarkanath and Nolan Pinto, Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, we know that Karnataka Congress has, of course, jumped in. They've been slamming the government for creating this kind of commotion, blaming them for the controversy. In fact, as this politics brews in Karnataka over the hijab ban, we're looking at some remarks coming in. One of them, Karnataka Congress MLA Zamir Ahmed, is now facing outrage after he made a statement that said, he in fact drew a rape analogy with this. Zamir says in a tweet that his statements were made only out of concern for women. He said that his statements were not intended to hurt or disrespect anyone. He further added that he regrets if it did hurt anyone. This comes after the MLA refused to apologize after Karnataka Congress Chief D.K. Shivkumar condemned the remarks against him to apologize and withdraw the statement. Zamir Ahmed had said, he quoted controversy after he said that rape happens in India because women don't wear the hijab. Claiming that parda in Islam is used to hide the beauty of Muslim women, Congress leader inferred that no hijab or parda means inviting rape. That's a very regretful statement that's been made by one of the leaders. But nonetheless, we're looking at the Congress party now stepping up their attack against the government in Karnataka for the hijab ban in classrooms. Let me quickly cut across to Rizwan Arshad, who is an MLA in Shivajinagar, Bengaluru city. He's a prominent face among the minorities to give us a little perspective here about the controversy here. Rizwan, we know that Muslim conservative women wear the hijab even inside classrooms. It's been a long-running tradition in Karnataka for sure. Now with the Karnataka government's order to ban hijab in government colleges and schools, it's really kicked up such a commotion that we never saw before. A communal situation, tensions among students itself in coastal Karnataka. How would you look at it?
Nabila, I just want a minute to try and express my views because what I have observed in last 1 month in Karnataka. Hijab has, as a controversy, is, I feel, a manufactured controversy. It was never a controversy anytime. When I used to go to college 15, 20 years back, when you were in college, few of the Muslim girls used to wear hijab and come to their colleges and universities. Not all Muslim girls wear hijab, but few of them do wear hijab. Culturally, they come from those little conservative families who wear hijab and come to college. There was never an issue. Never an issue. But suddenly, why there was an issue now at the end of the academic year? Why suddenly the college management and the government felt that the girls should not wear hijabs and come to the colleges and universities? That is my question. What happened to you? I want to ask my BJP friends, even the Chief Minister and his cabinet colleagues, when they were in colleges, there must have been few Muslim girls used to wear hijab. Why didn't they protest against that girl by wearing saffron shawls? Why didn't they protest? Because it was an acceptable norm that few girls do wear a headscarf and come to the class. No one had a problem. But today I'm seeing that in the history of this country, there is one and only government in Karnataka which has closed the doors of these colleges and universities on the face of girls, saying that you can't wear a headscarf and come, as if headscarf became a very big issue and hindrance in them getting educated. That is where it pains me. It is a manufactured controversy for political benefit of a few, and this is a conspiracy. This is what.
What you're saying, Rizwan, is exactly what the BJP is saying, that this is totally manufactured and doctored and staged. You have the Campus Front of India, the PFI, several, these radical Muslim groups that are really pushing these girls to protest and, create such communal tensions. This is being called as completely doctored and staged by the BJP, saying that they're doing their duty right, but the girls are being fully politically motivated.
My question is to the BJP, why are you allowing these conservative fundamentalist organizations to play politics inside the campuses? Why did you ban hijab at the first place when a few girls who are wearing scarf and coming to the school were doing it peacefully from years and nobody had a problem? No Hindu boy or a girl who were classmates had any problem because they accepted them there as they were. The duty of any government.
But this institution in question, the Udupi PU Government College, Rizwan, never allowed for hijab in the past. These girls are new to college. They've insisted that they want to wear it, and that was almost a push that came from the girls' side.
See, there must have been an isolated college, an incident which should have been dealt then and there by the government. Then it is the failure of the government that it allowed it to spread across. I have seen ministers from the BJP government and ordering saffron shawls in thousands and lakhs in number from Gujarat, Surat, and distributing it among the college students. What is this for? If BJP is running the government, it is their responsibility to maintain law and order. It is their responsibility to maintain peace and harmony in the society. If they themselves want to pit students against students, community against community, what kind of government is this? Then they create this and they close the doors of the institution and they say that, you know, it has spread wide and far. There are people who are wearing saffron shawls, they are wearing hijab. You distribute the saffron shawl, you create a controversy among different communities, then you propagate that there should be peace and harmony. This is not fair. On the part of the government, it is not fair. It is your responsibility to take the society together.
As much as the girls hoped, right, as much as the girls hoped that they would get some kind of support from the Congress party, which has so long been very much trying to appease the minority communities, here it appears that one of your own leaders isn't helping the case. Zamir Ahmed spoke about wearing the hijab preventing rape and it protects the beauty of Muslim women. How is it really helping the cause here?
I mean, I'm certainly not. I don't subscribe to Mr. Zamir Ahmed's view. I don't know what he has spoken, but I don't subscribe to whether a girl wears a modern clothing or a girl wears a hijab. How do we connect that to her honor? How do we connect her to whether she's safe in the society or not? It is the duty of the society and the law and order machinery to keep the society safe, not only the girls, everyone to be safe. I don't subscribe to that view. Must have been my issue here is very clear. Why was this a controversy when it was never a controversy for decades? Why it became a controversy now? Why the government came out with a circular banning hijab across the states in all schools and universities? I want to ask one thing to the government. The responsibility of the government is to bring students inside the campus. Why do we have a school chalo program when the school dropouts go back home and they don't come back to school? We bring them to school. We somehow pester them to come and study.
I have a last question to ask you. Right. Rizwan, here a quick question. When you spoke about school dropouts, I mean, you also being from the minority community, we understand that conservative Muslim families will, in fact, they will hesitate to send children to school and to educate them if they are not allowed to wear the hijab. We're going to be seeing a large-scale dropout if at all a ban like this is enforced legally. How would you convince those conservative families if the law does not come in their favor, the verdict does not come in their favor, and is the Congress party really going to be doing something for them?
See, it is complete marginalization and othering of the Muslim community now to push them away from the mainstream. This is what the fundamentalists wanted and this is what they are going to achieve in this. I just want to make the Muslim community also to understand that there is a big time effort to push us to the wall. But we need to react pragmatically. We need to react in a way where we are not othered in the society. We are in the mainstream society because Indian culture and Indian tradition has been to take everyone along. This is the tradition which is being, violated by a few political parties just for their political gains. Here, I just want you to understand that when they said the madrasas should be closed and the Muslim girls and boys should come into mainstream schools and colleges, now they are closing the doors of these schools and colleges and asking them to go back to madrasa. What is this happening?
Right.
Is the
Well,
BJP
we're really waiting to see what the High Court verdict will be, Rizwan.
Certainly, yes. We'll wait for the verdict.
Well, thank you, Rizwan, for your time. Thank you very much. Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you so much.
Sure. All right. Well, we heard what the Congress party's stance is. Well, we know that the Karnataka High Court, of course, is trying to deliberate on the several nuances of this case. One being whether or not wearing the hijab is an essential practice in Islam. The court readies to take up the case at 2:30 p.m. this afternoon, and it appears that Defiant Kamath, who is the advocate for the petitioners, has insisted, citing many verses from the Quran and, of course, looking at tradition as to how this is an essential practice for Muslim girls who follow. Let's take a look at this detailed report.
After schools in Karnataka reopened, colleges will open their doors to students on Wednesday. Students cannot wear any religious symbol, which means hijab remains out of the campus if the college authorities do not permit it. A final call on hijab will come from the High Court, which continues hearing students' petition against hijab ban. On Monday, the Petitioners' Council, Defiant Kamat, pleaded for headscarves that match uniform color. He argued that the students have been wearing hijab since their admission, that is, at least for 2 years. Questioning a government order that backs the college bodies, the petitioner claimed the College Development Committee, which prescribed the uniform, does not have a statutory basis. The petitioner argued that the declaration made by the state that wearing a headscarf is not protected by Article 25, which guarantees right to practice one's religion, is erroneous. The petitioner also questioned whether a college panel consisting of MLAs can decide if public order will be affected if the right is exercised. After the High Court asked whether everything stated in Quran is an essential religious practice, the petitioner argued that the Quran says it is farz or duty to wear hijab. Is hijab essential to practice Islam? Do students have the right to choose what they wear in colleges? These are the questions the High Court will address as it continues the hearing on hijab ban. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, India Today, with the largest team of reporters on ground, have been bringing you all those minute updates coming in on the hijab controversy as the Karnataka High Court takes up this case at 2:30 p.m. We're waiting also at the same time for the Karnataka government to issue standard operating procedures for all institutions now to follow, only to avoid the confusion. We're going to continue tracking these developments. For now, thank you for watching.